Win FM. Sounded like this.
Radio never sounded like this, sounded like this.
98.9 Win FM. St. Kitts and Nevis listens to
Win FM 98.9.
Win FM 98.9. WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and of course your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. We were missing for the last 2 weeks, unavoidably so. The first weekend there was the Culturama weekend, the holiday, public holiday, and last week Ernesto was in the place, so we got to say, hey, Ernesto, next time don't come so close. Well, it's not as easy as that. But it's nice having you here on another edition of On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and thank you for joining us. And we say happy birthday to those who are celebrating today. those of you who are having anniversaries today, happy anniversary, is celebrating the achievement of anything. And whether it's a new job and your boyfriend and your girlfriend and your bicycle and your house and your car, anything new you've gotten, congratulations. Those who are celebrating between now and next week, Monday, we say happy birthday in advance, happy anniversary in advance. And those who have celebrated between last week, Wednesday, and today, happy belated birthday to you. And two persons readily come to mind. Our very own Mikhail Louis, he celebrated, if I'm not mistaken, on Friday, Saturday, on the weekend sometime, and he's now turned 24. Happy birthday to you, Mikhail. Hope you're enjoying it. And also Shivner and Shandapal, if the records are correct and I'm interpreting them correct, he turned 50 as well, was it yesterday? Happy birthday, Shiv. And he's accustomed to 50 because when he started Test cricket, the first few innings he had, I know he started with a 50, and if he made 50, it was considered a fail because he was making so many runs. Congratulations, happy birthday to you, Shiv. And those persons in the corporate community, we thank you for joining us, and we're reaching out to you, hoping that we'll be able to convince you to be a part of the partnership package here at WINNFM 98.9 sponsoring On The Ball. And if you're interested, could you please call 466-9586, our marketing department, and they'll be able to discuss and create a package to suit you to drive customers through your door. Or you can call me or send a WhatsApp to me, 668-2055. 466-0989 is the line to call if you want to make a contribution. And we are going to be having two sets of guests tonight. We do apologize for the late start. We've had some challenges we had to sort out. And we're going to be having Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. He's going to be in to be talking some cricket with us, and he's going to be on the line anytime about now. And then we're going to be having the St. Kitts Amateur Volleyball Association's cover. And those in terms of guests, we'll get to Mr. Samuel in a second. But to those persons who are bereaved, we say on behalf of the management and staff, the board of WINNFM 98.9, and of course on behalf of On The Ball and my personal behalf, you have our condolences. Be strong in the many fond memories you would have experienced and you will forever cherish. And we hope you find comfort and strength in them. And we're speaking and remembering Mr. Glenn Ghost Phillip, former Minister of Sports here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis 2010 to 2015. And he was laid to rest today. And we are also thinking about the late Lord Black, who will be laid to rest tomorrow. Condolences to the family of both gentlemen. And be strong and be positive, notwithstanding the pain of your bereavement. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things have happened since we have been here. And we are going to be touching some football, cricket. Yes, cricket. The West Indies cricket team, they went down again. So they are basically on a roll, 4 straight. They've lost the last 4 test matches.
Have a good evening.
And yes, we do have Mr. Spencer on the line. Good evening, Mr. Spencer. We seem to have lost him. We had him there. Just a second. So we're going to try to connect to him again, and we thank Mr. Spencer for being with us. He's basically like a co-host now. He has been with us for the last few weeks.
Hello, good evening.
And we have him. Good evening, Mr. Spencer. How are you, sir? Good evening. Are you hearing me, Mr. Spencer?
I'm now hearing you. I wasn't before.
And
Would
how
you
it,
like for me to just do the call? I call you.
no, it's okay, sir. You're hearing me now. And we're going to be talking some cricket with Mr. Spencer. A lot of cricket happening here in the West Indies. We have the under 17 have been happening. We have the under 17 currently happening, and the under 15 Leeward Islands under 15 team not doing that well. They played 2 matches so far, and lost both matches. And let's go back to try to connect to Mr. Spencer. How are you, sir? Mr. Spencer? And how are you been doing? How are you doing?
I'm pretty much okay, thank you. I think everything is pretty much okay. You know, I'm in a land that I like pretty well, so everything is all right.
Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. And I'm saying that you have been like a co-host. You've been here so popular and regularly, and you're a very popular man in St. Kitts and Nevis. Persons love your contribution. And obviously, so we've been having a lot of cricket involving the Leeward Islands and West Indies. And persons enjoy your view as you express them. So what do you have for us tonight, apart from West Indies cricket? What is happening in the Leewards in terms of cricket, sir?
I think we're just having a little bit of a break up on the line. I do think maybe I could call you direct if you wish, if it's not coming through clearly to the audience.
Okay,
Are you hearing me?
Yes, okay, perhaps we can try that. The number will be 869 4660989. 869 466 0989. 869 466 0989.
Correct. And see how that works out for us.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. And that is Mr. Samuel Spencer. And he's here in St. Kitts, as a matter of fact, but he couldn't make it to the studio tonight. He has another engagement, and he's going to be pretty short. He's going to just go up until about 5 minutes to 8. And we again thank him. While we wait his call, football, the SKNFA season has been completed. We say congratulations to the SL Horsford St. Paul's United Football Club. They've won their championship. They went down to Rams Village Superstars last year. And while we're at it, we must say condolences to them, because they have lost, 3 of their players have lost their mum. And a former manager of the club, Theo Clark, an avid sportsman, he has lost his sister. And we say condolences to them. And it's Kalonje, Malik, and Ramo. And she passed away this morning, if I'm not mistaken. We say condolences to them, condolences to Theo Clark. And as you could expect, everybody in St. Paul's, even the animals, are avid supporters of the SL Horsford St. Paul's United Football Club. And they would have been celebrating their championship. They took care of business against Development Bank St. Peter's. Second time St. Peter's getting into the finals. And they had no answer for SL Horsford St. Paul's at all. Going down, was it 3-0 and 2-0. Interestingly enough, the 2 goals in the last match were scored in the first 10 minutes. One was an own goal. And then St. Paul's just couldn't find the back of the net. So it would have to be said, for the next 80 minutes, Development Bank, they were able to keep St. Paul's at bay. However, they had some chances, but they weren't able to capitalize on them. And we have some stats, who won what, and we're going to be providing you with that those in a minute. And perhaps we can do, we are waiting the call from Mr. Sam Spencer, so perhaps we may be able to look at those, the stats in the meantime. And we know that Development Bank St. Peter's, they played in the finals, they lost against SL Horsford St. Paul's, who have gone to championship number 7. And we also know that Security Forces United, they won the first division, so they were promoted to the Premier Division. We also know that Jones Group Sandy Point, they were second. And they too were promoted. And then there was the playoff match between number 8 from Premier Division, which was Newtown, and number 3 in the first division, Mantab. Mantab has been in the first division already, so they are familiar with that. They were in the Premier Division already, so they defeated Newtown 2-1. Newtown actually scored on Mantab first. I believe Mantab actually gave away a goal. I was watching the game. I saw the ball going, a lollipop, a popcorn, and I saw it going in the direction of the goal. I thought it was going outside. So I looked down on my phone. Next thing I looked up, I see the ball going to the center. I asked what happened. Somebody telling me a goal was scored. And that was very early in the game. And Mantab, they were able to come back and find the equalizer and then go ahead. So what that means now, Newtown has been relegated, demoted, whatever word you want to use, to the first division, and Mantab is now promoted to the Premiership. And if our records are correct, Newtown would have been the only team within the last 30 years or thereabout, from between 1980, well, 30, 40 years, give or take, to who would have been promoted and hadn't been demoted. We've seen basically all the other teams experiencing that. So it's the end of a dynasty, according to some fans on Facebook, because I still consider Newtown FC one of the most organized, if not the most organized football club in the federation. And perhaps they have lost their way a little, so to speak, over the last few years. And no doubt they're going to be rebuilding. We've seen some of their coaches going out and working with other clubs, Keon, St. Peter's at different points. And who knows, we're going to see how that works out. But we as Kititians, we have some crude and shrewd people here in the Federation. I heard literally, well, not on the radio stations, on social media, a death announcement, per se, of the Newtown Football Club. It was humorous, but it was a serious situation. And what that has meant, and I'm thinking we're having Mr. I think we have Mr. Samuel on the line. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty much okay. Nice to be on your program once more.
And thank you for availing yourself. We do apologize. We have some technical difficulties. I think I'll have to probably get a phone. Everything seems to be centered over my phone, so I'll probably have to get a new one. And so how has it been going cricket-wise?
Not very good for the Leewards on the 17s. Not very good for the West Indies at all. Unfortunately, our under 17 guys have played 2 matches and they've lost both matches simply because of the batting. We did not do well against the Windwards, and in the follow-up match again, our batting against Guyana was pretty horrible. We actually lost both games on the final day. The game against Guyana, we lost in the 7th of the 15th over. And against Windwards, a match we should have even drawn, we did not do well. What is happening with our batsmen is that they're just not occupying the crease long enough. You'll get 1 or 2 promising innings, very short innings, looking good, but then they're not carrying on. The bowling is quite good, but unfortunately, we're not doing what we ought to do. I was at the camp with the youngsters in Antigua, and it was evident that we would have struggled. As a matter of fact, when the Leeward team was selected, I did do a report to the board explaining that I wasn't pretty satisfied with the level of performances coming out from the youngsters, but we had to select from what we had, and unfortunately it is playing out here because it did in the under-19s, and now it's showing again in the under-17. It means that we have to do some very serious repairs as it comes to Leeward's cricket. If we don't, we'll not be able to produce players of the highest caliber that can move into our senior team. So as a body, we in the Leewards have to look seriously at age cricket. One of the recommendations made by the cricket committee, which I'm part of, is that we have under-13 tournaments. So we would start to build the players from a very early age. So by the time they get to the under-15 stage, they're quite good enough. And then the under-15s, the under-17s, and the under-19s would feed our senior team. So as it stands, not very happy at all as it relates to Leeward's age cricket.
And that's a very good point you're making, Sam, in my view, starting at the under 11. And I've always argued that the West Indies board, whatever policy, whatever strategy they have for the development of cricketers, that should be shared with all 6 units: WINNMedia, Leewards, Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago. And they in turn filter it down to their members, in the case of Leewards, to St. Kitts, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, etc. And the coaches we have in the islands, at whatever level, especially the school levels, they work on this program. So when the players get to the West Indies level, well, the Leewards level in the first instance, the West Indies level in the second instance, they're already at a particular level. So it's just about strategy and sharpening and honing the skills. I don't know how it is in Antigua and Barbuda, but here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Department of Sports, they control all sports within the school system: football, cricket, netball, etc. And while we are at that, we have said condolences to the family of the late Glenn Goes Phillip, who was in his last position when he passed, the advisor on sports to the government. And he himself was a former Minister of Sports between 2010 and 2015. And there's a disconnect, in my humble view, between the national associations and the Department of Sports. We are saying that we need, and I'm firmly of that view, we need with you and tell you what we want your coaches to do. So when they compete at the school levels, the under 11, 15, etc., they are actually working towards a plan, a program for the West Indies cricket, etc., etc. But I'm not certain that's working. How does it work in Antigua and Barbuda?
Well, actually, in Antigua, you have school coaches throughout the secondary schools, and they play on the under 15 tournaments there. However, I am not satisfied that the commitment is there as it really should. I've often said, how can you have coaches work from morning hours until, let's say, 2 or 3 o'clock, when the students are actually in academic classes? What time do they get to spend with the guys? Only when there are cricket matches, you would find that the coaches are able to touch base with the players. I do find it's a ridiculous system. What should happen is that these coaches should have access to these young players from, let's say, 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon until 5 or 6 p.m., so that you can really impart the knowledge, do the training, and so forth. The only time that the coaches are spending late hours with the players is when they do have matches. I say it is a futile situation where you're going to employ someone to work from 9 or 8 o'clock in the morning when actually they're only having contact with the players, let's say from 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock on match days and very little before match days. So for me, it is not a wise thing the way it is set up there, and they need to look at that very seriously. And for the other territories, as you spoke about St. Kitts, Nevis, I happened to last time when I was here to just get a glimpse of a little bit of cricket played among some youngsters. And you can see the eagerness, you can see the hunger, but it needs a proper system. Definitely. Throughout the Leewards, we need a proper system. The current VP of the Leewards, who's based in Anguilla, Oliver, he actually is working on something, and he have charged our cricket committee to come up with something that can help, all the territories with on the 13s, on the 15s, go right up to our senior team. We need to revamp what we have now and set a proper process. And I think that is what the cricket committee needs to do, or else we're going to get the same results that we're getting. Yes, our senior team didn't do badly, although I'm disappointed that we didn't win the one-day series, in particular when we lost in the finals against Trinidad. In the 4-day fixtures, going into the 6th round of 7 rounds of matches, we were leading by about 8 or 9 points, and we finally came third. So these are some of the things that we have to look at seriously. Revamping, restructuring in a way that benefits us in the Leewards. And when I say us, our players, because they're the ones that represent us.
I can't agree with you more, Sam. And the interesting thing is we have CARICOM. There is a chairman of cricket affairs in CARICOM. I am not so certain of the success of CARICOM over these years. And yes, we have accomplished quite a few. I think we have a very long way to go after 50 years. Because if all of us cannot travel from St. Kitts and Nevis to Antigua to Trinidad to Barbados, etc., on a driver's license or social security card or voter's ID, then something is wrong. That system worked for players when we had the 2007 World Cup, but it looked like the whole infrastructure went through the door with them. And perhaps the ministers of sports within the CARICOM region, especially the CARICOM, they need to sit down and make the decisions there and filter it down and take it back to their countries so we could work on it. And we have CPL starting on the 29th in the next few days. And yes, it's a different thing to the 4-day, 5-day format, but it's cricket nonetheless. And just after that, we would have had the CG50 overs competition last year around the latter part of the year. How is that looking up for this year?
Well, actually, for the Leewards this year, the cricket committee has been working on a fixture that will be presented to the directors of Leewards Cricket. And what will happen is that they will give the approval as to the time frame in which we can play our 50-over games. We're looking at sometime after your independence celebration here in St. Kitts. There's a possibility, or the proposals out there is that the matches could be played in St. Kitts and over a 6-day period. What we're looking at, and it's subject to approval of the Leewards board, is that we play 3 matches, that's 50-over matches, and then there's a rest day, and you play 2 other matches. Now, you will be asked why just 5 matches. Now, there are some issues in getting full teams from Montserrat, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the British Virgin Islands. So to ensure that everybody is involved, the idea coming from the cricket committee is that we combine those three teams. As a matter of fact, it was suggested by the president himself, Mr. Enoch Lewis, that everybody who wants to play cricket must be involved. So if the Virgin Islands have 3 or 4 players, the British Virgin Islands have 3 or 4, and Montserrat have the remainder, or whatever the case may be, whichever have the most. Of course, we try to ensure that we have that 6th team in the competition, because it's not wise to exclude anyone. We as selectors want to be able to look at all the players to ensure we get the best talent for the leewards. So it will be 6 teams, 5 matches, played over a period of 6 days because it's a rest day. And coming out of that, I'm sure that we'll be able to spot, more talent like we did with the best of best that were played in Antigua, where if you note from the players that were selected to represent the Hurricanes, they emerged from that a player from St. Kitts by the name of Jaleel Clark, also Cameron Pennyfeather, and from Antigua you have a player by the name of Kadim Henry, and Damari Benter, and others. So it's a case where the talent are there, they just need to be given the opportunity. And playing these matches, I'm sure, we'll be able to spot talent. And I'm just encouraging everyone, I'm encouraging you that wherever the matches are played, whether it's in St. Kitts or in Antigua, Nevis, Anguilla, whatever, come out and watch the games. Because people have this talk shop as to this player should play for the Leewards or that should play. And if you ask them, have you ever seen that player? No, I hear about him, or he made runs, or he got wickets. We want people to come out and support the players, encourage them. And that's basically what it is. So we're looking forward to having this tournament.
Very, very interesting indeed, Sam. I like the last part, that persons, they want to do the selection, but they don't come and they don't look at the players. And there's a particular gentleman here in St. Kitts and Nevis, he listens to the program, Curtis Cook. He always says that. And we're in a cricket chat together, and he's always asking how many persons in the chat have gone to watch cricket at the level, especially with the youth cricket and the youngsters. So I'm certain that he'll be glad to hear that, and that's something I support. And it's unfortunate, very extremely unfortunate in my view, Sam, that the Cricket Association, there are some 48 individual members. And basically these individual members just show up to vote, most of them. They don't come to these games, you don't see them around. And if they do come, they just come to the big games when the CPLs and whatever, from what I've been hearing, where they get the free passes, which doesn't help the development of cricket. And then when you have elections, they just go in and they vote for the status quo, they vote for the friends and the families and the colleagues. And that isn't serving the purpose of cricket. Because in my humble view, Sam, Mikhail Louis, he's extremely blessed. I consider it a miracle that he has made West Indies cricket team without playing any two-day cricket here in St. Kitts. We have not had a two-day league here in St. Kitts for forever. And
indeed, great talent. And I looked at his records. I understand that there are some folks from the West Indies and even in his own territory that is calling for his head. That is ridiculous. This young man has played 5 test matches. Yes, his average 21. But if you look at the state of West Indies cricket, even our test captain is averaging just about 33 or thereabouts in test cricket after nearly 100 test matches. I'm not saying that averaging 21 should be sounding as good enough for any test batsman or batting at the top of the order. But the state of West Indies cricket dictates what we're getting at this moment. And this young man, having played 5 test matches, has shared in many better opening partnerships than we've had in the recent past. And spoken of by those who saw him as one who can develop his game. And for people to be calling for his head at this moment is totally ridiculous. Take, for instance, that he's played only 7 first-class matches prior to being selected in the West Indies team. Look at the English wicketkeeper, Smith. He has played 61 first-class matches. So when you do the comparison, you see the difference in terms of experience. And don't get me wrong by saying this, but I also think that the standard of our first-class cricket in the West Indies needs vast improvement. We need to play better cricket. It is not as competitive as it should be. One speaks of pitch preparation, one speaks of the talent of the players, but we need to stop talking and we need to get it right. And I challenge those in authority to prove me wrong with what I'm saying. We talk too much and we're not acting enough. Definitely.
I couldn't have agreed with you more, Sam. And it's something that we collectively throughout the Caribbean, we have to work on, because we're seeing the techniques not really properly developed, the decision making, the application, especially the decision making. We're seeing a lot of our cricketers hanging the bat out there. They're going fishing outside of the off stump when balls they should be easily leaving alone. So that's a serious problem. And like you said, we are taking 20 wickets. We are taking 10 wickets per inning, but we are not being able to take score runs. And the consistency, scoring 400 plus in one test match and can't come back and score 150, which is something that has been plaguing us over the years. But going back to the proposed schedule that you're looking at for the 50 overs, I like the idea where Montserrat, the BVI, USVI cannot get a team individually, so the players will combine from those 3 teams to form one team for the competition purposes, because it's a really unfair and unfortunate 2-3 players in whichever unit, because they can't have a full team, they're not able to display their talents and thus be available for selection for the Leeward Islands team. Strangely enough, we had a situation here in our primary school 4 years ago with the same Cardell Cook who has played for the Leeward Islands under 19 team this year, where he was going to a school where his school couldn't feed a team. And some discussion was had with some teachers, the head teachers, and he was allowed to play for another team. But some persons objected, and persons involved in cricket, which is unfortunate. I think they were extremely myopic and not seeing the bigger picture. But hopefully with this happening, that model will be able to filter down into our levels, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but on Montserrat, Anguilla, wherever, and perhaps even in the Windward Islands, as the case may be. And I like the idea, as short as it is, at least something is happening. Some cricket is happening, unlike our to the championship here in St. Kitts, and we haven't had any, while Nevis is playing all sort of cricket over there. And the grounds, of course, we have quite a few grounds. Warner Park, we have Connery, we have St. Paul, Sandy Point, Keon, Molyneux. So we have that. I note you didn't mention any consideration being given to having any matches in Nevis.
When you look at the situation, and it all boils down to what the directors may finally decide in terms of the venues. But when you look at playing this tournament, it's very costly to move players around. And one of the considerations given, the geographical location of St. Kitts allows for it to be more financially feasible to get all the players congregating in St. Kitts. If you're going to be moving players across to Nevis, and this is just my opinion, it's not the opinion of the entire cricket committee, but if you're going to be moving players over to Nevis, it simply adds to the cost, right? And you're trying to ensure you play the tournament, make the players real comfortable at, a minimum cost, really. So if you were to be taking, let's say, 2 or 3 matches to Nevis, which would have been good if finances were in place to do that. That would have been good too. But I'm sure the plan is to ensure that all the territories at one point or another will get their tournaments, whether it be 20 overs, 50 overs, or the 4-day games. All the territories should get that.
Oh, okay. I like the idea. Are you at liberty to indicate what proposed venues would have been forwarded on to for consideration, or would that be left to this?
We're in discussion with the St. Kitts board in terms of the grounds that would be used, but I cannot really at this point say exactly what will happen as it pertains to that. As I've said before, it's the cricket committee's proposal, to ensure that we play this tournament. And it is not a case where, as the cricket committee, we can dictate. We only propose, and the proposal is taken to the board, and then the board will make the final decision. And that is why I did say it's merely a proposal, but I feel strongly, given the commitment from St. Kitts and the proposal made by the cricket committee, that those games definitely, will be played in St. Kitts. Given that you do have the facilities, I know at this point in time in some of the other territories it's football season, and they may not have many of the grounds available to them. And not only grounds, we have to look at the facilities at the ground, and we have to look at accommodation for players. And everything here depends on cost. We know that many governments in the Leeward Islands are not assisting as they should as it relates to cricket. And I chide them for that because, my life is cricket. I just live for it. And I feel that sports tourism is so important to us that our government need to take a serious look at cricket, to what it brings and what it can be added to your economy.
We appreciate that. Thanks a lot. And I could understand the situation. The discussions are still ongoing. And we have about 6 grounds which we could easily use here in St. Kitts, as I mentioned. So no doubt. And yes, the major football, the Premier Division and the First Division, the season has ended. However, we have some age categories and the female competition. They are happening. Most of the games are being played at the technical center, however, football technical center. So that doesn't pose an issue in terms of the availability and the grounds. And is the consideration we have the Warner Park, which is a lit ground. Is any consideration given to have any day-night matches?
That is solely, of the request maybe of the directors, if we can have day-night matches. But because of the fact that the games would be so structured in whichever territories that is played, it's 3 games per day, and you having, facilities to accommodate 3 games per day, I'm sure it would be, day games.
Okay, we understand that. And we are aware that you indicated that you have another commitment which you will have to honor just about now. But any other words you'll want to indicate before you leave, sir?
I'd just like to, as West Indian, to look at our history against South Africa. If we ever thought that we were going to walk over South Africa, that's a fallacy. It never would have happened. We actually have played 34 test matches against South Africa. South Africa have won 28. We drew 3 and we won 3. So, going to this series, actually, South Africa really made a mockery of us in terms of test cricket. So my expectations were not really high, although I don't see this as a full strength South African team. They seem to be rebuilding also in some areas. But coming out of England, I did thought we would have done a little better than we did. I'm saying that I'm not disappointed with our batting, that we're not, coming on as we really should. Yes, we have a middle order that in West Indian terms we would term young, but for me, it's not that young, because if you have players at 30 and 31 and, 32 and 27 and so forth in your middle order, these guys honestly should have been players who should have had quite a few test matches behind them. I speak to the problem where we're getting our players into test cricket too late. And I make emphasis here on the fact that, for me, when we picked that team for England, we could have looked at 2 or 3 more youngsters for that particular squad that went to England. And if we continue to look at our cricket from this angle, we're still going to be faced with the problem of getting players into test cricket at 23, 24, 25, when we should try to get our players in at 19, 20, 21, 22. So by the time they are in their mid-20s, they would have been established players, mature enough to understand the game at the level that they should. But I just hope that we can begin to look at these things very seriously and that we're able to get our cricket right. Because, as West Indians, our passion for the one thing that really brings us together is cricket, and we just want the best of it. People are tired of losing. People are tired of not seeing the progress that they want to see, and that is why the stands are empty when you have test cricket in the West Indies.
I understand you clearly, Sam. I don't believe I could have put it any better, and hence the importance of the on the 19, on the 17, on the 15, and even the on the 13 competition, even going on to on 11, as you mentioned. I like that idea. And yes, it is a serious challenge financially, because whether we like it or not, finances make the mayor go. And with the distribution of the funds from ICC, the chunk of everything going to the bigger countries who I dare say can afford it. And with the smaller units, we're left to really fend for ourselves. And we will have to be more encouraging and try to be more successful with appealing to the sponsors. But it's a catch-22 situation. Sponsors want to be a part of something successful, and you can't get sponsorship until you're being successful. And we're going through that period because we've seen West Indies having had so many sponsors over the last 10, 15, 20 years. It's like every 2-3 years they're changing.
Sure. Leeward Islands just had an elections recently, and President Lewis, I had some conversations with him, and he assured me that there is a renewed commitment to ensure that we play a lot of cricket in the Leeward. We give the players the support that is needed. And I was very pleased when he came up with the proposal of the best of best, when they were told that we could not find a window for any cricket. And I'm also pleased that we're going to play this Super 50 or Leeward Islands 50 overs competition. And also, I'm looking forward for us to be able to play 3-day cricket, very early in the new year or late in this year, to ensure that we can select our team for the West Indies tournament. Leewards were once not respected. You can remember years ago, Leewards had to be combined with the Windwards in order to play in West Indies tournament. Now, Leeward senior team is a team to be reckoned with, but there's still more that we can do and should do. And once I'm assured that we will be able to work together, all the territories, hands in hand, I am committed to stay in Leeward's cricket to do whatever I can to help.
And we appreciate that, Sam. And we thank you very much for availing yourself as you have been doing over the past few months. You're technically becoming a household word here in St. Kitts, especially from the cricket point of view, sharing that position. But before you slip away, a quick question. The vacancy of the coach for the Leeward Islands, has anything been done with that, and the vacancies of the selections at the West Indies level? Have you been hearing anything about them?
Nothing about the West Indies selection. It seems like they are sorting out a new policy, which is taking a considerable period of time. I'm sure by tomorrow, when I contact the president or the CEO of Leeward's Cricket, there should be some information pertaining to the coaches. And when it becomes available for public consumption, I'll be happy to let you know.
Thanks a lot, Sam. We appreciate it again. And thank you for your input here on the ball at Win FM 98.9. And we're looking forward to have you again in the near future.
I do hope that I can sit in next week if I do have the time, as I'll be around for quite a bit.
Definitely, we look forward to that. And thanks a lot. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the show. And I'm sure your listeners will be quite happy to join you and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate it and looking forward to have you again.
You're welcome, sir.
You're listening to On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. We were listening, we had live Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board's selection committee, and he was just updating us on the LI 50 over competition, and of course his view on the West Indies and the way forward. Very strong views indeed, and we need persons like Sam around with the testicular fortitude to say something and stand by it. And we thank you once again, Sam. You're listening to On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. I'm Troy Biff Mills, your host, and I thank you for joining us. In case you want to call, 466-0989, 662-0989. You want to WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp me, 668-2055. And we're going into some netball, forgive me, some volleyball. I look up and I see these lovely ladies in front of me, so I'm thinking netball. We're going to have some netball next week, actually, but we have some volleyballers in the studios, some young volleyballers, and I'm seeing a gentleman who's not as youthful as them. I think he's the coach, but we're going to go to studio 2 and have them in a bit. So stick and stay, don't go away. We'll be right back in a few. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host. On the Ball happens every Tuesday night on the WinFM 98.9 from 7 to 9 p.m. Save and except public holidays or we are affected by the weather and we're in the hurricane season. And we must say congratulations to all the employees, all associated with NEMA, and keeping the Federation safe during hurricanes, tropical storm, the hurricane season. And not forgetting the Ministry of Social Services, I think, or Community Affairs. They deal with the community centers and the hurricane shelters. And we're back. We have with us five persons in the studio, a very powerful contingent, and we're now going to join them in the studio, and they're going to tell us who they are and etc. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WinFM 98.9. Welcome to On the Ball here at WinFM.
Good evening.
Good evening, Troy.
Good evening.
Smiles, and could you tell us who you are? Let's start with ladies first, in the on the left here.
Good evening. I'm Selena Awani.
Thank you, Selena.
I'm Jontel Hensley.
Jontel, lovely names.
Thank you.
The guys are shy?
Well, good evening. I'm Vikash Sunda.
Hey, good evening. I'm Julian Bristol.
And good evening. I'm head coach Rick Swan.
So we have Selena, forgive me. What's the young lady's name again?
Jontel.
Jontel. It brings a calypso to mind that says, Chantel are going to mash up the turkey. Selena, Jontel, Vikash,
Julian.
Julian,
Yeah.
and Rick. Welcome to the studios of WinFM 98.9. Any of you have been here before?
No,
No.
first
No,
time.
this is the first time.
Wow, so it's an honor to have all 5 of you. And could you please now tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's start in the reverse order, Julian.
Oh, with me? Okay, sure.
Sorry, forgive me.
Vikash.
Vikash. Yes, tell us a little about you, how old you are, where you're from, when you started playing volleyball.
Well, I'm from St. Kitts actually, right there in JNF. I was born. I lived in Newtown my whole life, all 18 years of my life. I'm 18 years old. And I got into volleyball a little bit because I saw my friends playing in school. I actually went to the school across the road right there, ICCS.
Okay.
And I started playing beach volleyball maybe around 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So it's been a good little while since I've started.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Jantel?
Well, I'm also from St. Kitts as well. 19, and I started playing around 8 months ago. So it's really been a learning journey, and I love playing.
Okay, what part of SK you're from?
Halfway tree.
Halfway Tree, okay. So you would know like the Hensley, the basketball, the young Hensley.
Yeah, that's my family.
That's your family. Oh, so it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at Halfway Tree a little closer because of the talent you guys producing down there.
Definitely.
I know you had a strong football team a few years back. The lawyer Anthony Gonzalez, he would have played, and he went to convent as well. And quite a few persons, talent in the Halfway Tree region. Coach, we're going to save the best for last. Let us go to Selena.
So I was born in St. Thomas, but I've lived here my whole life. And I started playing beach volleyball around 8 months ago, but I've played indoor maybe like a year ago, but not professionally, to say.
Okay, and you are how old?
I'm 13.
Okay. 13,
Yeah.
1-3, okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Vikash?
Julian.
Oh, sorry, Vikash is there, Julian.
It's okay. Well, I'm originally from Guyana. Lived there like 7 years of my life. Came to St. Kitts, been here. Been in Newtown actually for,
About 12 years. No.
yeah, you could say around. Oh, sorry. Around like 10 years. Yeah, this year I actually turned 18, so. Yeah, I've been playing volleyball for about a year and a half. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Okay, we go to the big cheese, the coach.
So I came to St. Kitts in 2007, but only got to stay 10 days that trip. And came back on 4 other trips and spent 30 years in the United States, primarily in Colorado, coaching collegiate volleyball. And coming down here, I brought teams down here on international training trips and competition. My wife and I fell in love with the island, fell in love with the people from St. Kitts. And during COVID, I was like, let's time to retire and let's move to the island. So we came down here about 3 years ago. Started on a 3-month grant through the International Volleyball Federation. We had a great time. Things went well. So long story short, been here almost 3 years now, coaching the national teams, both indoor and on the beach. Love the opportunity to be here in St. Kitts and enjoy working with these young kids and doing everything we can to promote beach volleyball and indoor volleyball on the island.
Thank you very much, Coach, and thank you for selecting St. Kitts. You could have chosen any other Caribbean island, but thank you very much for choosing St. Kitts, and by extension, St. Kitts and Nevis. And though it's 3 months late, welcome to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. You may not know, but I was the vice president of the St. Kitts Amateur Volleyball Association back in the 90s, I think it was, a year or two.
Okay.
And I'm a little on the short side, but I played a little bit of volleyball with my community, Sandy Point SP, where the best be. Not that I was a very good player, but I had a little idea. Jumping was never my thing, so I'm not into the spiking thing. But since then, volleyball has completely evolved, complete transformation from what we did then to now. And I realized that we we have been investing a lot in the beach volleyball, which is good. But for the two ladies, have you been playing any sports before? Netball, football, cricket, table tennis even? And what caused you to decide, hey, let me try volleyball?
Well, in primary school, I used to do track and field and stuff like that. And then when I graduated to high school, I did netball. And it was in, I think, second form where I went to a volleyball camp. And then, so the coach from that camp, he was always saying, Jonta, you're good at volleyball. Like, you should keep coming, And then that's really one of the reasons why I came back to volleyball 8 months ago. So, yeah.
Okay, what about you, Selena?
So before I did swimming, and I was gonna swim for St. Kitts, but then I did tennis for 5 years, and I took a break from sports since then. And maybe a year ago, I went to the volleyball camp every Saturday, and then I progressed and started beach volleyball.
Oh, that's wonderful. You did tennis. Ever thought about table tennis?
Well, I play table tennis for fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It so happened that I'm the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. So we might have to have a little discussion about that. I hope the coach don't mind.
Not at all.
And yes, Julian.
Oh, well. I've been playing sports basically my entire life. I started off with cricket at first. I was really good at cricket.
Okay. Keeper, bowler, bat?
I was basically, mainly focused on bowling. Not
Pace
so
or
much
spin?
on batting. Well, since I left-handed, coach had me doing spin.
Okay.
Bowling. But yeah, after cricket, I ventured into basketball, and yeah, it was fun. It was really nice, actually. Like, I made it really far in basketball, and one of these days, my friends asked me if I wanted to play volleyball. This was indoor volleyball around 2 years ago. Yeah, this was indoor volleyball around 2 years ago, and then yeah, I went. Coach saw me jump and was like, "Hey, I need you on the team." And yeah, ever since I've just been playing.
And what about you, Vikash?
Well, kind of similar to Julian, maybe not to his extent, but I did play a bit of sports my whole life. In primary school, I used to run, long distance and stuff in primary school. And then I got injured from that. And then I took a break from sports for a little while. Then I got to try to get back into sports, get back healthy. So I played a little cricket for a little while. I really loved cricket. Again, I used to bowl pace.
Okay.
Because I'm right-handed, I had a little long arm. So the coach is like, try some pace. So I used to bowl a little pace. Tried that for a while. Played a lot of cricket. Then after that, I was just staying active, swimming, cycling, just doing different things. And then my friends just introduced me to volleyball. And I was always interested in volleyball, mainly because, there's a couple movies and stuff that came out, and it was about volleyball. And it caused a lot of people, me included, to get interested in it. And I was like, oh, St. Kitts has volleyball? That's cool. I got to try it out. And then, when I first started, coach wasn't there, actually. We didn't even have the auditorium. We were in Wannapack. But I just stick with it. The guys, they were all, motivating me. They were like, yeah, just stick to it. You're going to get good. Then I met coach. Coach was like, yeah, you just got to stick to it. You're not half bad. Once you stick to it, you'll improve. And then I'm here now, loving the sport.
Coach, over the years, we've been primarily playing, indoor for want of a better expression, though it would have been in cases outside. The transition from that, the six-a-side, to beach volleyball, which is two persons per team, that would have been coming fairly recently over the last few years. Any idea what caused that transition from the full six-a-side to the beach volleyball?
Well, we actually had a couple players that have been playing beach for a long time, representing St. Kitts. St. Clair Hodge and Sean Seabrooks on the men's side, and a number of female athletes on the women's side, and Brenda Allen and Janelle Lake, the two of the most recent ones that have played. And so when I got here, those were pretty much the only players playing beach at the time. And we played a lot of indoors in the Dome at the Marriott. And when our kind of season got done there, we kind of started moving everybody to the beach for a couple of reasons. One is you only have two players. So you get a lot more touches. You learn the game a lot faster when you have to do everything.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of opportunities international-wise for us to send teams. So we've been fortunate enough to send teams to England for the Commonwealth Games, Thailand for the World Championships, El Salvador for the CAC Games, Mexico for Olympic qualifier this year, and then, of course, the ECVA championships that are coming up, both for the under 20s and then the senior adults as well. So it's a lot easier to send two players than it is to send a whole team of 10 or 11. And so there's just more opportunities for those players to get an opportunity to travel and play different places.
So with the ECVA that's happening, could you tell us a little more about that, please? Why St. Kitts? It could have been any place else, but why St. Kitts?
Well, one reason for St. Kitts is the president of the St. Kitts Volleyball Association is Glenn Quinlan. And Glenn has done an amazing job over the long. You probably played with Glenn many years ago, Troy, back in the day. He's been around a long time, but he is the president of the Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association as well. So a lot of the Eastern Caribbean countries host different tournaments, and we've been lucky enough to host this tournament here. Last year, we'll host it this year and then host it again next year. And we really want to show everybody in the Eastern Caribbean how to put on a great tournament and be great hosts when they come here. So we're excited about the opportunity to have 26 teams that will be competing in the 3-day tournament starting on August 30th.
And if you just permit me to a few seconds to read a press release from the St. Kitts Amateur Volleyball Associated dated August 15th, captioned St. Kitts to host the 2024 ECVA U21 Beach Volleyball Championships. St. Kitts will welcome the region's top junior beach volleyball talent as it hosts the 2024 Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association ECVA U21 Beach Volleyball Championships from August 30th to September 1st at the Marriott Beach. This high-profile event will bring teams from 11 countries, all vying for a coveted spot in the FIVB, and that is the International Volleyball Federation Beach Volleyball U21 World Championships, scheduled to be held in Georgia in July 2025. That's Georgia in the USA, Georgia on my mind. For the second consecutive year, St. Kitts and Nevis has been selected as the host venue for this prestigious tournament. The event's expansion with an additional country participating this year highlights the growing importance of beach volleyball across the region, the Eastern Caribbean, and ECVA's ongoing efforts to foster youth athletic development. And it goes on, but I'll steady here for now, and we'll have that posted on our website. And I was at the Marriott. I visited the Marriott last year when it was being played, and I was very much impressed. I saw you in live and live in color, Coach, and the St. Kitts team. Was it you played last year? I remember. And I was very impressed. You guys look businesslike, and the communication, I think, was good. The execution. I didn't have a long time there, but I enjoyed it. I was very much amazed the way the beach was transformed to that whole volleyball environment, and the fun, the excitement, and the whole administration of it. So I thought it was a wonderful thing. But Coach, in terms of the pool, how much of a pool did you have for both the males and the females to choose from? How many players you basically had from a male point of view and a female, and why these two teams?
Well, We actually are going to have 3 male teams
Okay.
and 3 female teams compete this year in the tournament, where last year we just had the one single male team. So from the pool of players that have come out and played consistently on a regular basis, we had about 8 males that we had to choose 6 from.
Okay.
And from the females, we had about 8 to start with, and we kind of narrowed that down and ended up with 6 that have been training and getting ready for competition.
And how many teams each country is allowed to have? Is it 3 per country, or is it that because we're hosting?
We're having 3 teams because we're hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe all the other countries are each bringing 1 team. There may be another country that's bringing 2 teams.
Okay.
And the biggest issue with that is the cost of travel and the airfare.
Very expensive.
Yes, exactly.
So in turn, Selena, your partner,
Yeah. John Tell is my partner.
John Tell is your partner. How have things been going between both of you?
I would say things have been going pretty well. We just started training as partners a couple weeks ago, so we're getting new to training with each other, but things have been going well.
And John Tell, how has been the communication between both of you? Do you have special signals that you give her to tell her what you're going to serve or whatever?
Yeah, we came up with our own signals and stuff like that. We actually have a handshake that we do if we get a point or just to bring our spirits up. So, yeah, communication is very good between us.
What about you,
Julian?
Julian?
Well,
Is Vikish your partner?
Vikash.
Is Vikash your partner?
yeah.
Okay.
Vikish is my partner.
I like that. I'm going to use that. I like that. I'm going to use that.
I would say communication wise, yeah, we're really like as you said last year, you was there, right? You really liked our communication. Like this year, it's like another step.
Wow.
So like it's really nice. Like you should definitely come watch us.
I'll definitely try and make it on some of the days. Vikish or Vikash? Sorry.
I mean, when it comes to communication between me and him, it's pretty good. You know, coach always stressed communication between us because it's like, you know, it's just the 2 of us out there. We got to have each other's back. And like you said, communication went on a different level. Chemistry definitely helps too because we know each other for a while now. We went to the same piano class and stuff. And then since we started playing beach together, we practically learned the game together.
Okay.
So, you know, when I was bad, when he was bad, we both went through that phase together. When we used to take licks from the older guys, we went through all of that together. So communication is definitely great, you know. And yeah, that's just something we always stress.
And they still take the licks from the older guys.
We give a little now. We give a little now.
They give a little back now.
What do you think would be the strength of your team?
Between our team, I'm a really good passer.
Yeah, and I'm a really good setter.
He's a really good setter. He has really good hands.
Yeah.
We're both very fast. You know,
Yeah.
we both can, you know, jump pretty good. He jumps a little better, you know, a lot better. He jumps a lot better.
What about the spiking?
Spiking. Oh, yeah. Me being right-handed and him being left-handed, it throws teams off because we're both on our dominant sides. So, you know, on the left side, that's better for a right-hander. I can come in, you know, wrist away and what's not. And he's a left-hander, so he can still come in and do the same thing. So it throws it off a bit. And plus, you know, when you're training, you're accustomed to blocking a right-hander. This guy comes in, hits the opposite way you're used to, so it throws him off.
But what about the center challenge now where it's not your stronger side? How do you deal with that?
On the other side?
No, you're right-handed, so you play on the right.
Yeah.
You're left-handed, you play on the left.
No. Right-handers left and left-handers right.
Okay. Right-handers
Left,
right would be here, left here. Yeah. So that takes care of the channel, the middle channel, so to speak. But how do you deal with the outer areas where you're not so strong on that side?
Well, just playing the game and getting used to it, I guess.
Yeah, the dominant side is for primarily for your spiking.
Okay.
So it's easier to have a ball and hit off your your dominant hand on the inside than it is on the outside. So you hit the ball before it comes to your body, then have it cross your body and then make contact. So playing defense, it doesn't really matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed, but attacking the ball gives you a little bit of an advantage playing on the dominant side.
What about you ladies? Who is the stronger setter, the stronger passer as it is, and how do you deal with the slams or the spikes?
I would say for spikes, Jontel is the better hitter because she has a really good approach and can hit the ball hard and in the court. So I would give that.
I would say Simina is the better passer. I think we both balance out each other with passing and setting and stuff like that. We basically, as Vikash said, learned the game together. So we know the challenges that come with if it's a bad pass, we know what to do and stuff like that. But yeah.
Coach, do you have the names of the other 4 players? Oh, sorry.
Yes, we do.
Do you mind telling us and the teams who will be teaming up, please?
Yeah. Our other male team is Komar Frats and Jedediah Pension, and then Alex Law and Josh Walters. And then the female team is Asia Campbell and Genevieve, I always say her name wrong, Genevieve Thomas, and she's from Nevis.
Oh, that's interesting. That's wonderful.
In training. And then our third team is Jazara, Andrew and Kimberly Jules.
Any of these from Sandy Point, SP where the best be?
No,
St. Paul's. Well, that's an SP, but that's really a sort of photocopy SP. That's really the genuine SP where the best be. Coach, we're going to have to do something about it, not inducing and not getting Sandy Pointers, which is I'm from Sandy Point, as you would guess. A sporting community. We've produced 1 or 2 good sportsmen and women throughout. Jazara Claxton, she plays for the West Indies cricket team.
Well, I saw Jazara play a couple of years ago when I first got here, and we had about 80 kids from Sandy Point come to the dome over at the Marriott and spent about 2 hours playing volleyball. And yeah, I remember that young lady, and I went to Coach Rhoda at the time, and I said, Rhoda, we got to get her playing volleyball. She's like, well, Coach, you might have a little problem there. She's playing on the U19 West Indies team. So, but yeah, there's some really good talent out in Sandy Point, and we'd love to get some of those young kids to come and play. And every Saturday morning, we have a youth clinic on the beach at Frigate Beach. On our beach courts there, and from 9 to 11, and we'd love to have those kids come out, and we'll get them training and playing and give them the opportunity to learn the game. And we actually have a coach, Shaquan, who's a teacher at Sandy Point, and he comes a lot of times. And if we can get them to town, we provide transportation from Warner Park over to the beach. So they can reach out to us on the website or on Facebook and Instagram, on our media sites, and get more information about coming to our youth clinics on Saturday mornings.
Any number, is there a telephone number that somebody could call, parents can call?
I don't have a number offhand, but there will be a number listed on the website.
On the website. Okay, wonderful. And you said it's every Saturday morning from 9 to 11?
From 9 to 11 every Saturday morning in Frigate Bay.
And any particular age range?
Typically, we like them about 12 years old and up, so 12 to 18.
Okay. So that's wonderful. Every Saturday at Frigate Bay Beach. Which section is it down? Down at the Boozies area, up at the Shiggity Shack area?
More at the Boozies area.
More at the Boozies area. How many coaches do you have in volleyball here in St. Kitts?
You're pretty much looking at them. So that's something we're working on. Coach Brenda Allen, who is the former player I mentioned earlier, she is transitioning to coaching and been helping with the female teams quite a lot, which has been fantastic. And then we have a couple other coaches that occasionally help. They're kind of former players that stop in and help and will be there. I mentioned Coach Saquon from Sandy Point. But yeah, we're always looking for anybody that had past experience playing volleyball that would love to come out and give back to the community and help coach, I'll be glad to get them started and have them take over some of the responsibilities. To be awesome.
Well, Shaquan, he's actually the vice president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association.
Yes, he is.
And way back when I was more active in volleyball, I actually got a level 1 coaching certificate. It's something I never did use. Volleyball, I played a little bit of it, but somehow I stuck to cricket and football. Not that way I was a lot better, any better.
Sure.
But I just love the ideas, and those were my passion actually. And how many players do you have overall? You mentioned indoor and outdoor. This is the beach soccer. Forgive me.
On the beach side,
about how many players you have playing?
If we don't, not including the youth that come on the Saturday mornings, we probably have close to 20 males and probably 12 females that come and play on a regular basis.
Okay, going into this competition, well, back up last year, how successful were you, Vikash and Julian, sorry.
Well, we actually came second last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice experience, and I learned a lot for sure. Like, I learned how mental the game was for one, how much prepping your body, how much you have to really prep your body and stuff. But it was definitely a learning experience. We lost to St. Lucia.
So who eventually won it, Julian?
Pardon?
Who eventually won the tournament last year? You lost to St. Lucia.
Yeah, we lost to
in
St.
this.
Lucia.
So how was the structure of the competition?
So the structure is set up. You have pool play.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how many teams, this year we'll have 13 teams. There'll be 3 groups of 4, 4, and 5, I think it is.
Okay.
Or no, my bad. There's going to be 4 groups this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll play pool play competition. From there, you'll advance to the
So, coach, for you say pool play, we say zones. Some person may be wondering when you say pool, what do you mean? But actually, there'll be 4 zones.
You'll have a group of 4.
4 zones of 4 teams.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, 4 different groups.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll be 1 group of 4 and 3 groups of 3.
Okay.
And from there, you'll advance to the quarterfinals.
So that's 2 teams per zone group.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
Okay.
With semifinals played on the morning and the finals played on Sunday afternoon.
And this is for both the females and the
Correct.
males. The teams that come out winning, what happens to them? Do they look forward to competing in some higher level or another zone in a particular championship?
Yeah, you accumulate points, and from those points you can qualify for the World Championships next year for the under 21 championships.
Is it a case when St. Kitts and Nevis wins both male and female, whoever comes second, they get points? So these points could go towards allowing them to qualify for the World Championships next year, or is it just as well?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's because you can accumulate so many points, and then the team with the most points through different tournaments
So
qualify.
So there'll be different tournaments at different times in different countries. So you folks would be looking forward to going to other countries, even if you win this.
Yeah.
You'll be competing as well in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Correct, yeah.
And every tournament can be different. Some tournaments, it may be the winner goes.
Mhm.
You actually win that tournament, and the winners would go. And other tournaments, it may be a combination of so many tournaments, accumulation of who's going to go.
How are you feeling, Julian and Vikash? Your confidence levels this year, having come second last year.
Well, definitely feel a lot better than last year for sure. Last year was my first really technically second tournament, but it was at home where everybody, watching you. And, we only was playing together for a couple months maybe.
Yeah, and it was really their first major international tournament.
Yeah.
We'd done a small training trip to St. Martin, which wasn't. Oh yeah, you had the Youth Commonwealth Games in Tobago. So, but being home, this was their first big major international tournament.
And you young ladies, it's your first big tournament, so to speak, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
How are you feeling? How do you see yourselves performing?
I'm definitely nervous, if nervous is the word, but I just hope that we do our best. We will do our best. I know.
Yeah, I'm very nervous too, but I'm also excited to compete in the tournament as it's our first one and it's at home too. So a lot of people are going to be there supporting and watching us. So.
And who do you see as your biggest challenges, coach? I know, well, before you get there, the countries to compete: Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia 3, Grenada 4, British Virgin Islands 5, St. Eustatius 6, Sabre 7, Bermuda 8, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 9, Anguilla 10, and host country St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's nice having our neighbors, Statia and Sabre, participating.
Definitely. St. Lucia is really strong, and there'll be good competition, as well as Dominica. And same with on the women's side. Both those programs are really strong. Antigua and Barbuda will be pretty competitive as well. Don't know as much. St. Vincent and the Grenadines could have a pretty strong team. Bermuda has a really good youth program, so we expect them to bring in some pretty strong teams as well.
Are scholarships available for volleyball players?
Most definitely. We actually have two of our male players that actually trained with these guys today. They're leaving next week to go back to the States. They play indoor volleyball in Tennessee for Cumberland University. And then we have a number, 3 or 4 other players that are leaving in January that are going to be going and play volleyball in the States as well. So typically we train them on the beach. It's a pretty good crossover to indoor because of their ability on the beach to have to do everything and just you learn all the skills a lot faster that they can go and play indoor volleyball. It's a pretty good transition from beach to indoor, so it works out well.
And the two who are going back to school, how long have they been out there in school, and who are they?
So Zinde Richards and Najee, what's Najee's last name? Hendrickson. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here. Those two are going to Cumberland University, and this will be their second year there. And they started playing before I got here. They've been probably playing about a year before I got here.
Okay.
So we're excited to see them going back to have their second year in the States.
And the 3 who are going in January, this is the first time. Who are they and what schools are they going to, if you're remembering the name?
Oh, that's I don't remember them off the hand. So Johnny Davis is going to school in South Carolina. Lemuel, what's Lemuel's last name? Cheverton, yes. He's going to school.
It's a different school.
It's a different school,
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clarick Ward's going to school in Illinois.
Okay, that's wonderful. And we're hoping that from this tournament or down the road, we'll have these 4 youngsters going somewhere at some point.
Most definitely.
I think generally the Windward Islands over the past few years, they've been stronger at ball games than we here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Netball, the basketballs, and the volleyballs. Football, we've maybe even Stephen, the last few years we've gotten on top of them. And the cricket, I'm not certain where we are, which is stronger. Antigua, there's always that stern rivalry in anything between St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts particularly, and Antigua and Barbuda, because in some competitions we have to play as St. Kitts and Nevis like this, and in other competitions we can play separate, like when they have the Leeward Islands cricket tournament or football for that matter. So there's always that stern rivalry. Beat St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, or beat just St. Kitts and Antigua and Barbuda. So any final words before we leave, ladies and gentlemen?
No, we just we'd like to invite the folks in the community to come out on August 30th, 31st, and September 1st and watch a great event and see these young athletes that have been working hard. It's going to be an exciting tournament, and it's a lot of fun, and come out and enjoy the day.
Again, so give each of you give your full name and invite the country of St. Kitts and Nevis to come on over.
Okay. Good evening, Vikas Sundar here again, and always just come out and support. Love the support always.
It's Alina Awani, and I think everybody should come out and support because it helps, and I feel like if you come and support, we will do better and bring home
Most definitely.
trophies and medals.
Jontel Hensley, and I hope to see you there.
Julian Bristol here again. Julian Bristol, yes, that's my name. Yeah, guys, I'm looking forward for a lot of you to come out to watch us play, support us. Numbers is power, so yeah. It will mean a lot if you guys came out and support Team St. Kitts.
And your coach?
And Coach Rick Swan. And it just means a lot for these kids to see people come out and cheering them on. And they're excited to represent St. Kitts and Nevis, and they're going to give it everything they have in the tournament.
And I could feel the energy. I could feel the excitement. I'm even getting some, I call it goose pimples about it. So I really wish you folks tremendously well. I hope in terms of the two male teams here, the male team here, that you step up a notch. And of course, I'll go greedy and say I'd like to think it's the other two to be second and third. But of course, they'll have to work. And you ladies, welcome to the netballing walk, and we're wishing you welcome to the volleyball world, and we're wishing you well and hope you actually medal as well as the other teams. Give it your best shot. St. Kitts and Nevis will be rooting for you in the East Caribbean Volleyball Association's Under 21 Championship that happens at the Marriott Beach from the August 30th to September 1st. Congratulations to all three teams, male teams from St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, and all three female teams from St. Kitts and Nevis as well. And you, coach, and looking forward to be there. And best wishes. And thank you for taking time out to be with us on the ball here at WinFM 98.9. And when you have your medals and your championships, we will have you back here to tell us about the experience and any recommendations you'll have.
Thanks, Troy. We really appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. We've had two teams, male team and female team, will be participating in the ECVA Under 21 volleyball competition happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis at the Marriott. And also Coach Rick, who's been working with them. He's now retired and living in St. Kitts. And again, we welcome him with open arms, him and his family. And we thank you, folks. Wish you all the best. Tremendous success. And you're listening to On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills. It's just about time to wrap up. And we had with us some volleyballers, two teams, a male team and a female team. They're participating in the ECVA, East Caribbean Volleyball Association Championship on the 21 competition happening here at the Marriott Beach, August 30th to September 1st. And we're encouraging all of you, Tut Mun Bagay, take the cats, take the dogs, take the monkeys if you have even, and go on out and support. Let us support our St. Kitts and Nevis team. And I like the fact that there's a young lady from Nevis in the team as well. It would have been nicer if we had somebody from SP where the best be, but we understand we have to step up and get our game in order. No doubt that will happen next year. So good wishes, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And before I slip away, I actually have to commend highly the sponsors of the tournament here. I'm a stickler for sponsorship. I know how critically important, critically urgent it's needed. And for this competition, we have some of the sponsors: St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, the FIVB, which is the international body for volleyball, North Seeker, North Central Caribbean Volleyball, not volleyball, they're sporting organization, the Olympic Solidarity via the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee, the SKNOC, and all the other entities who are sponsoring the tournament. Thank you, and we look forward to that. And again, go on out and support the St. Kitts and the Nevis team. We are now at the end of the program, and we invite you to tune in again next week, Tuesday, God Spear, when we're going to be having another edition of On the Ball here at WINFM 98.9. And I'm Troy Biff Mills. your host. It has been a pleasure, of course, and we're encouraging you, the corporate community, to come on board and sponsor the program. We encourage you. We are in need of the sponsorship to ensure that this program continues. And 466-9586 is the number to call to discuss your marketing department, discuss your sponsorship package, or you can call me, Troy Biff Mill, 668-2055. You can send me a WhatsApp, and I'll be able to come and meet you. I'll be very glad to do that. So tune in again. I must thank my technician, my producer, Tough House, and he's been doing a wonderful job. So tune in again next week. Godspeed. And as I slip away, always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Have a good night.